I'm Katie.
Hi, I'm Camilla.
And welcome to You're Gonna Be Fine, the self-development podcast with a chatty twist.
Please know that we are not professionals, just regular girls sharing from our own journeys to hopefully educate, motivate and inspire you on yours.
So if you're dealing with something serious, please speak to a professional because at the end of the day, they are the experts, not us.
If you are enjoying the podcast, please rate, review, subscribe and share with someone who you think would enjoy it.
It helps us more than you know to reach more gorgeous people just like you.
With that being said, enjoy the episode and remember, whatever it is,
you're going to be fine. Hi, and welcome to today's episode of You're Gonna Be Fine. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that we are pretty hot on, and that is friendship. We're going to be talking about the red, amber, and green flags of friendship. I feel like this is such good advice and something that I wish I was aware of earlier. I think I've accepted things in friendships in my life that now I definitely wouldn't, and I think it's great that we're talking about that and airing out, things that to be aware of. So let's run through first of all, though, our Oh Fuck of the Week.
Yes, the best bit.
It is the best bit.
11-11, make a wish.
Go on, what's your Oh Fuck of the Week this week?
So my Oh Fuck of this week is, so I was speaking to you about this. It's not really an oh fuck, it's more of like, well, it is, I suppose, because I feel bad for the girl. Basically, I went to get laser hair removal yesterday or the day before, and I just need to ask, why does nobody talk about how fucking painful laser hair removal is? Why is it this kept secret where people they must be doing collaborations and not saying?
People say it's pain-free.
It lies.
Really?
This is the reason I have trust issues because I genuinely believed this is a machine, it's pain-free. Are you joking? I've got a really high pain threshold.
Yeah, you do.
Really high.
I've seen you in pain and you handle it like a boss.
Like a boss bitch.
Yeah.
No, this reduces me to tears.
Really?
It's horrendous. So anyway, I go for my laser hair removal and I've got a bit of a tan because I've been away, which makes it more painful. And I just feel it was like a real oh fuck because I was screaming the salon down. The girl was genuinely, she was laughing because she just couldn't believe it. But she turned up the notch, the setting. So it was even more painful because she was like, we need to speed along these results if you're going to be hair free for your 30th. So I was like, right.
Oh God, so she was whacking it up to 10 out of 10.
Up. Also, no one talks about the fact that your dignity is left at the door. Honestly.
Legs akimbo.
I felt violated. She had my fucking labia in her hand. I was just like, oh my God, this cannot.
Arsehole out.
Genuinely, no, it was. She was like, if you could just pull the cheeks apart. I was like, are you joking? I was like, oh my fucking God. This
but honestly,
is
the amount of bum holes and vaginas they see, I'm sure you become vagina numb.
Hole.
It's just another hole. Yeah, exactly.
But it doesn't stop you. I made the mistake of wearing a unitard. So I had to take it all off. So I was naked. I was just completely naked on the bed. And I just thought, this is horrendous. And I said this to you, and I will say it again. Laser hair removal is the best form of torture. Why did we not use that in any of the wars? I swear to God, if you asked me my bank details, if you asked me who any secrets, I would tell you. Instagram password, I'll give it you.
One zap on the arsehole and all secrets are spilled.
I swear to God, why were we doing these ridiculous, no sleep, fuck that. Don't bother trying to keep them awake, just zap them, right on the bum hole, and then they'll tell you anything.
Actually, they would come out of that torture silky smooth.
Exactly. So it's not really torture, it's
that's one benefit of it.
Exactly. So
I'm sorry you had that experience because honestly, I have had laser hair before, but I only had it on my underarms, so I thought, maybe that's why it didn't hurt. But actually, you're really tanned and I'm white as a sheet.
Yeah.
So maybe that is why it didn't hurt me, because I have no tan.
But I have been doing a mini survey, and the people that I have spoken to have said it is excruciatingly painful, but we just have to kind of get on with it. And it's well, I hate that for us as girls. Why the fuck do we have periods, childbirth, laser hair removal, menopause? And we need to speak about it more. We need to speak about the pain of laser hair removal. Honestly, shout out to Tara, my laser girl, because she is fabulous. She did make me feel as comfortable as I possibly could with
That's
no
good.
clothes on. So there we are. But
Yeah.
that was my oh fuck of the week. And it was kind of just like oh fuck, I've got 5 more sessions. That was it. So yeah.
It'll be worth it though.
I
because
hope
you're going to be
so.
silky smooth by your 30th. And it is a good investment, definitely.
Yeah,
Think
and
of the time you're saving in the future as well.
This is the thing for me, because I'm a master of my minutes. I think to myself, well, shaving, it costs me in time like 10 to 15 minutes, like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So if I add all that up and it accumulates, I'm like, right,
you
winner,
could pick
winner.
up another hobby in that time.
Exactly.
You could be fluent in Spanish.
Yeah, this is the way that we reframe things.
Yeah, I know.
Which
The
is
PMA
great.
is 10 out of 10, isn't it? On this
I
on
just
this
realised
side.
we've not actually introduced.
Oh my
Don't say his name
gosh.
because he's chilled. Norris. I don't want to say his name because otherwise he'll get hyper. But we do have our mascot.
We have a guest on today's
this
podcast.
is our first guest. He's actually a mute. He doesn't yet.
And he's extremely small.
Yeah.
He's miniature and mute.
Yeah, he is. He's the perfect guest, really. Doesn't backchat, doesn't ask any sticky questions, and just agrees with everything that we say. And he's just oblivious. So anyway,
Bless
that's him. What was your oh fuck of the week?
My oh fuck of the week is really short.
Oh, excellent, because mine was well long.
I got my nails done blue.
Oh, yeah,
And I was just like,
did notice
oh,
it.
fuck.
I did notice it, and I thought that's not very on brand. But who am I to question the Renaissance?
I just thought, she's doing
Yeah.
her nails. And I just thought, she was like, what colour would you like? And I was like,
blue.
blue.
Yeah, it just came out. It
And I
matches
was like,
the outfit.
wow. Well, yeah, it matches the outfit. Basically, years ago, I used to always get like wild nails, like always. I used to get nails like one nail a different colour, like rainbow nails. And then one day my sister said to me, look at your nails or something like that. And I was like, what does that mean? She's like, one day you're going to grow up. And you're going to get nude or you're going to get red. And that's it. And you'll be classy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right, okay. Anyway, obviously subconsciously that has stayed in my brain.
Yeah.
And over the last like 2 years, I've only ever got nude and red.
So you're
And
rebelling.
maybe in the winter, I've got like a dark plum or like a brown or something like that. And then I'm just rebelling.
Yeah.
I was just like, do them blue.
I love
And then
it.
as soon as I got them blue, I was like, what the fuck have I done? Like, they don't go with anything except blue. But then I did show James. I was like, I did something a bit crazy today. And I was like, bam. And he just goes, blue. Because obviously his business is like branding and everything is blue. So I was like, yeah, okay, he loves them. And I actually, do you know what?
I do quite like them,
It gives me a
actually.
bit of dopamine. You know, you look, you're like, bam, bam.
Yeah,
So
I'm a rebel.
I feel like, I like
First day
continue.
of spring, what colour does she get her nails? Blue.
Bam.
Yeah, I like
but
them.
now I'm loving it, actually. It's lifting my mood every time I look at them.
Great.
And now maybe I'll fancy a little bit of nail art. Maybe I'll get a bit experimental.
That
Who knows?
reminds me of when I actually got my toenails green.
Oh.
Big mistake. Yeah, that was a bit too
It's giving
rebellious.
gangrene.
It was terrible.
It's
But
giving fungal infection.
And she didn't do the usual where they paint one nail and say, "Do you like it?"
Oh, she just went full
all
hog.
full
Yeah.
on it. So I just had to really own that for a
and
while.
do you do the thing where you're like, oh, I love
it.
them, when really you hate them?
No, I actually don't lie because I can't lie. Like, I'm a really bad liar. So I just was like, yeah, they don't look as good as I thought they were, but it's my fault, not yours. I took the accountability, which is key, obviously. But yeah, I love that. I actually do really like them.
Yeah, so it's maybe not an fucking that I regret it, but just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah, wow,
Great.
I'm rolling with it. So yes.
So a different colour that we're talking about. Great segue.
Yes, finally! We've got
That
a
was
segue
actually
that
a
makes
really
sense.
good one.
Thank
You know
God.
that was good.
Because
Sorry,
every
Norris.
episode we are clutching at straws. So that was fantastic. So we're going to go from blue nails to red, amber and green flags of friendship.
Unbelievable.
God, we are professionals at this
Yes.
now. God.
So I love this topic, and obviously, disclaimer: these are our personal red,
Yes.
amber, and what's the other colour? Green,
Blue.
flags. So I'm going to go first and say what my green flag in friendship is, and it is and will always be people who are your cheerleader with absolutely no agenda. And I think that these types of friendship do come about, later when you're a bit more mature and able to reciprocate that energy. But yeah, just someone in your corner who isn't competing against you and just talks about you behind closed doors in a positive way, where there's opportunities, where, they can put you forward for something, maybe in a career, maybe like something outside of it. So yeah, I think that that's a really amazing green flag. And if you've got people like that, cling on to them because they are rare to find, especially amongst females. I do feel like society, we've kind of pitted against each other to compete and like who's prettier, who's more successful, you know, and it's who's skinnier, and it is very toxic. So actually just staying in your own lane and just being happy for someone with no agenda. You're happy for them because they've, you know, done something amazing.
You want the best for them.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's funny when we were talking about green flags because I'd already written down my green flag and I was like, what's yours? And then you said yours and mine was the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, how funny. And I think we're really blessed because we have that in each other. There's been so many opportunities that you've got for me that I've got for you, clients wise and work opportunities wise. But also on that, I feel like when people do that and shout about you and, you know, speak really highly of you when you're not there, that is a massive trait of an abundance mindset. That if they had a scarcity mindset, it's like, oh, I can't tell her about that opportunity because then I might not get the opportunity. Whereas there's enough for everyone.
Absolutely.
If you think your friend is excellent at something, like shout about it because
100%.
you know that's what friends are for. I feel like, why would you have a friend that would not do that?
Bizarre.
It
would go against every fibre of my being to not mention someone when I know that they'd be good for an opportunity, and also give out what you want to receive. Exactly. I think that's a massive thing as well. And yeah, you just can't get a more bright green flag than that. And I think the older I've got, the more I have attracted friends like that, and the more I have reciprocated that energy. Yeah. So yeah, what was your green flag? Oh, you've just said it.
No, I can't remember.
Oh.
No, that was my green. No, wait, hang on. Oh yeah, that was it.
Please keep that in. I can't remember.
There's only one green flag and that's it.
The panic in your face then. I thought it's because you'd said it. I was like, oh shit, am I behind?
No, it threw me because you went, you've just said it. And I thought, she's gaslighting me. I haven't just said it. I don't know if I've said it or not. And then I was like, I don't know. I can't remember.
She's gaslighting me. What a red flag.
No, my green flag was the same as yours, but then I thought a bit boring to have the same one. So I have another one, and it is to have friends that when you leave their company, you are uplifted, you're invigorated, you're motivated, you're inspired, you're like full of joy and energy and positivity. Because if not, why are they your friend?
Yeah.
Why would you have anybody in your life that makes you feel self-conscious or judged or low or negative or self-doubty? Like, why would you have that in your life? Anxious.
When you leave them and you think, are they going to pass on what I've said to other people? Yeah. Like, that is a really like horrible feeling when you're like, I was a bit emotionally slutty. Yeah. Is that going to get out? And you just have that pit in your stomach. And I think, you know, when they say like in romantic relationships, like when you know, I think it's the same with friendship. Like when you know that they're a good friend. And when you've got that anxious pit in your stomach, you know that they're not a good friend. You
shouldn't be having friends in your life where you need to second guess yourself.
No.
And think like, oh, did they think, was that too much? Was I like too much there? Or did I share too much? Like, you want to feel safe in all of your relationships and to feel like you can be your full self and feel that your information that you've shared with them is safe within those four walls, if that's what you want. Yeah. You know, and also just mainly people you can have a laugh with that bring joy and fun and into your life, because life is really hard sometimes, and that's what friends are for, people surely. Joy.
People that bring out the silly. Silly is my new favourite word at the minute. Like silly.
And congruent.
Yes, congruent. That's your other... what was it?
Is it congruent?
Concurrent.
Sorry.
Yeah, but I do like that one as well. I think silly. Like, it's such a good word. It almost, even the word sounds silly. Yeah. Like, it's silly. silly. It's almost an onomatopoeia. It isn't, but it could be.
Onomatopoeia.
Pia, I say, but you can say paya and be a freak.
And be wrong.
So I think just people that you can be silly with, because if you take yourself and friendships too seriously, life is going to drag on and on and on. So you really need to just be in your silly era with your silly little friends, going on your silly little walks.
With your silly little coffee.
Yeah, silly little coffees and all of those silly little activities. So they are the green flags of friendship.
Yeah. What's your amber flag?
Amber flag is, so when we're saying amber, we kind of mean your flag to watch. Like, so a trait to watch that's maybe not a huge red flag at the minute, but you just need to keep an eye on it, because if this behavior is done continuously, then you might need to move it to the red flag category and maybe instigate a bit of a conversation. So my amber flag is gossiping. Now, I am not a big gossiper. Like, I am all about discuss plans, not people. But I understand that in this day and age, people love to know about other people's lives and therefore they share information. So when someone's gossiping to me, I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt and I'll let them do it like a few times. And then I'll kind of just say like, oh, like, shall we like stop speaking about other people now and like discuss our plans or whatever. So I think that's a really key thing, because if people are discussing, especially people like close to them, in a negative way and they haven't said it to the other person, I think that's an amber flag, and possibly it's like amber red for me. But if they're doing it all the time, obviously it's a red flag. But I think just keep it in your mind, because if they're saying something about someone else, you know, it's the whole like what Sally says of Susan says more of Sally than of Susan. And if someone's using your time to discuss other people that, you know, maybe they're really good friends with, then what are they saying about you? And that's something that can actually provoke that anxiety feeling that we were talking about before. So just be mindful of it. Obviously, when someone's maybe gossiping a bit too much, maybe just like, oh yeah, that's you know, whatever, nip it in the bud, and then talk about something else, talk about something positive, kind of steer the conversation. Or you can actually, I think this works sometimes, if someone's gossiping, you can or about to gossip, you can kind of say like before the conversation, like, oh, I've like met a few people recently and all they've done is like talk about other
plant
people. Plant the seed. It's like the person is you. But you can kind of say that and then they pick up on it unless they're literally like stupid.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are unaware. That's the other thing, is that it's kind of habitual. So to plant the seed like that kind of just raises people's awareness of maybe what they're doing, because it can be, it's quite a lazy form of conversation.
It is, that's so true.
Sometimes it's gossiping in a negative way, like saying things that are really negative about people, or like, oh, did you hear that, like negative, which is kind of bitchy and not very kind. And also a lot of the time you don't know the full story of somebody's situation. So for you to be saying like half a story or even 10% of a story is not fair on the situation. But also just being, you know, it's okay to kind of like talk about things, and if it involves other people, then that's fine. We're not saying never talk about other people, but it's more if it feels like you're using that tool as a bonding tool. I don't think that is positive. Gossiping is used a lot as a bonding tool,
especially with women.
And I don't actually think that is conducive to having a deep, meaningful relationship with someone. Like, you're not doing yourself a favor by talking about other people, even if in the moment it feels like, oh, I'm really close with this person because we agree about this thing.
This person's a bit of a, you know.
But actually, is that good for the quality of your relationship?
You would never
Probably
be able
not.
to relax, I don't think, into the friendship because you know that you both talk about people in that way, and you could talk about each other in that way, I think. So yeah, that is a really good point.
One to be aware of. And for yourself. Check yourself. It's not always the other person. You might even notice in yourself like, oh, that was a bit, I slipped into that there and I don't really like that about myself. Like, that's not the type of person I want to be, and I'm going to be aware of that next time I have a conversation with somebody. Because
I saw something the other day and I think it's so true. Like, this generation is like pretty miserable due to one thing, and it's the overconsumption of other people's lives. And I think that you need to be so careful not to consume too much, and therefore, like, even when you're consuming online, and then you're even more consumed because you're sharing that information as well. Because also it can be like something that you've seen online. It doesn't have to be about a friend. It could be a stranger that you're kind of like, oh, did you see what she posted? And if people are saying that, I think that's a big red flag, because you're ridiculing someone for putting themselves out there. So there's different categories, isn't there? You know when it's a red flag or an amber flag when it comes to gossiping, I think. Yeah,
you know it in your gut feeling, don't you? And also just remember, if somebody is gossiping a lot, it actually shows a lot about how they feel about themselves, because everything is a projection, isn't it? If somebody sees someone putting themselves out there online, they're like, oh my God, did you see what she did or whatever? then that's because they don't feel enough in themselves. And so it is an area of reflection, really, I think, to notice that in someone and think, oh, right, okay, like that's how you actually feel about you.
Yourself.
It's not about them. It's actually about how you feel about you.
Yeah, but if someone said that to you, like, oh, can you believe that such and such posted that online? Because we post online, I'd be like, oh, like, you know, like such a strange...
Yeah, I once dated this guy who said to me, like, why are you so obsessed with social media? And I was like,
because it brings me money, dickhead.
Because I'm trying to have an online business.
Like, you freak!
Like, I was literally
oh my God.
But I just thought about that. Like, obviously it hit a nerve in me when he first said it. But then I thought about it after. I was like, that is so about you rather than about me. You could never, honey,
ever
and have the bravery and courage to put yourself out there online. Yeah. It takes so much courage to do that. And he obviously didn't have that.
Yeah, I think that's a massive thing. This is completely off topic. However, we can bring it back. I know we have. We can. We've got that.
We'll find a segue. By hook or by crook.
That is a massive thing about like drinking. Like when people are like, oh, like you're not drinking, they say that because they could never go on a night out and not drink. Like it's honestly, a massive mirror that you're showing them, like that you are doing something that they could not do. So it's like you can draw a parallel there very clearly.
I say so many times a week to the Your Sober Glow members, if anyone has anything negative to say about your drinking, it is a projection of them, not a reflection of you.
Yeah, I love that.
I say that, honestly. I say that phrase in my sleep. I say it so many times.
In the face and on the nails.
Exactly. Because it's just so true. It's so true. But not only in drinking, like we've just said, it's so many other things in life. It's
That's
a
just
projection,
another example.
Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I love that. Mind your business, basically. If I'm posting on social media, mind your business.
I've just realised you're wearing a red top as well.
I know, I've
so
been really excited to get onto red.
To the red, so
I'm literally like buzzing for red. You went in with, you said amber next. I was fuming. I was like, oh, I was all ready with like my joke about my outfit. But never mind.
Sorry, I've ruined it. I've ruined it. So yeah, my amber flag is when a friend comes to you about a problem or a situation that they are in. Absolutely fine. That's what friends are for. Like, if you have any issue, I want to be the one that you can come to. But when it gets to the point where it's like the same problem over and 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 over again with zero action towards changing the problem, I just feel like what you're not changing, you're choosing. Yeah. And it actually becomes to a point where it ends up making the friendship very one-sided and very focused on that person, and that person has no regard for how draining that is for you as a friend. And you know, we've all been there. Like, I've repeated the same problem over and over and over again to you, to Millie, to so many of my friends, but I am an action taker. If you give me a piece of advice, I'm going to listen to it. I might not act on that exactly word for word. I'm not saying if someone tells you to do something, you should do it. Like, have your own autonomy and make your own decisions, but don't use your friend as an emotional punching bag.
Yes.
Because you're just bombarding them with negativity and draining, and they're like trying to G you up and give you advice, and that's a lot of mental energy, especially when your friend cares about you. It's like, oh God, I hate to see you this way, you know? Yeah. And then it just becomes draining when it's over a very long period of time. And it's up to you to call on that. Like, when is the cutoff point for you? But when it gets to the point where it's draining, it's like, get a therapist. Yeah. That's not what I'm here for. I'm your friend, not your therapist.
Yeah. That's what they say in Sex and the City. It's one of my favourite episodes. Carrie has gone through a breakup with Mr. Big, and all she talks about is that she's like, da, 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 and she's like, and then the girls do an intervention. And they're like, listen, Carrie, we have given you all of this advice and you've just disregarded it. You need to get a therapist. Yeah. And she turns around and says, well, I don't need a therapist. I've got you guys. And they're like, no. This is not what we're for continuously. It was 3 months of the same combo. Yeah. But this is where I think asking this question is really, really useful. When someone is like upset about something and they're soundboarding off you, and like you say, they're using you as an emotional punching bag, you then need to ask them, do you want me to advise or do you want me to listen? Because then you can save a lot of wasted breath. by just
energy,
listening to them venting, and then you don't give them any advice because number one, they might not want it, and number two, they're not going to fucking listen to it.
No.
So you may as well just
save your breath
and just listen.
And that's fine.
And that's
great.
That's great.
If that's what you need in
but
that
a lot
moment.
of the time, people do want advice and then don't take it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that is a very, very vicious cycle of just energy draining. And you know, when you care for your friends, you want to pour so much into them and you feel passionately about their happiness.
Yeah, of course. Also, I think it is natural to just, if somebody gives you a problem, you naturally go to want to solve it for them. So it's not necessarily, they might not even be asking for advice. You just naturally give it because you, like we've just said, you care about them, you want them to be okay, and you feel like that's supportive. But it is really useful that to say, I mean, James sometimes says it to me, and like it's useful in romantic relationships as well. Like, do you need me to listen to you or do you need a solution?
Yeah.
And he'll say that often. I'm like, listen to me, because I'm hormonal. I don't need a solution. I just need you to listen to me. And he's like, fine, okay, cool. That's what we'll do. If he tried to give me a solution, I'd be like, I'm not ready for that. Like, you know, and it's the same in friendships, but it's just drawing the line, isn't it? Of knowing where is like helpful and getting off your chest and whatnot, and then where is just becoming an emotional punching bag where it's just not fair or productive. So that's one to watch. That's my amber flag.
Great. And finally, my
red flag.
And if you're not watching, which you can on YouTube, don't forget, subscribe, like and share. I'm wearing a bright red t-shirt. Well, it's like a long body. I don't know why I'm describing in such detail, of a lovely fabric, 97% no.
Lovely cleavage as well. Before we started, I feel like I have to say it or else I just sound like a creep. Camilla was like, how much cleavage is appropriate for the pod today? And I was like, get them
how
out.
many likes do we want? So yeah, we've gone for middle range.
Demure,
PG,
mindful.
certificate 12. So my red flag today is being a chameleon. So this is one to watch with beady eyes. So this is like, for me, a massive red flag, because I've experienced this in friendships before, and you don't realize that actually sometimes people are built this way, but these are the people, and also it's the same in relationships, people that are interested in the same things as you because you're interested in those things, and they kind of just they think that they're interested in them as well. I genuinely think and they just kind of become who they're with, and they don't really have a sense of self. And I think surrounding yourself with these people, sometimes it rubs off on you, and it can be negative because you don't want friends that don't really know like who they are. Like obviously help them find themselves. Like I'm not saying like just neglect people, but you can tell a chameleon from a long way off, I think, once you've like seen them before. I can anyway.
I feel like that's a red flag as well, because if somebody is a chameleon, it's like you're going into that territory of, would they be loyal? Would they stand their ground if someone said something shit about you? If they just want to fit in all the time and not rock the boat and are a bit people pleasy and just like bend and mold. Well, if somebody said something negative about me in a room, would you you know, be in my corner, or would you feel like, oh my God, I agree, because I'm chameleoning to what you're saying.
100%.
So it's not just about as a quality in a person. As a friend, I don't feel like that strikes me as something that I would want, because I feel like, would you actually be in my corner if I ever needed you to be? Yeah,
and it's just, it's really not a good kind of thing to see as well when someone gets a new boyfriend, for example, and they love fishing. The boyfriend loves fishing. The girl then loves fishing, or like,
I love that you've used fishing as an example, because James loves fishing. He's
but
literally fishing as we speak. As we speak, he's fishing, and he was like, "Do you want to come?" And last year I did go a few times just because I'd never been. I thought I'll see. Anyway, he was like, "Do you want to come?" And I was like, I think it might be good for you to have some alone time.
And you know what's
I'm not
great?
going to go.
You know what's great? Absolutely no girl's going to be interested in him, because he's probably going to get a picture of him holding a massive fish.
Exactly.
And you're going to encourage that because you know it's a great A, form of contraception, and B, nobody's liking that picture that's a girl because it's absolutely repulsive. That is no disrespect to James. I don't know whether he actually will do that. I'm sure there is a picture of him with a fish somewhere.
Of course.
But share that.
Yeah. Well, that's what you said when
Great
I
for
said,
you.
oh, James is into fishing, like when I first met him, Camilla was like, oh, thank God, that's amazing. You'd rather that than him be into high rocks.
Yeah.
Where there's like all these girls with their asses out. And I was like, oh God, I never even thought about that. But yeah, maybe. He's just like in his waders with his fish.
Exactly. That is perfect. Seriously. Like my fucking boyfriend loves the gym. Like, and I'm like, perhaps you could go fishing with James. No, I'm joking. He can go to the gym. But yeah, so yeah, that is my red flag, and I'll keep it short and sweet because I just feel like it's a chameleon is a chameleon. That is what you need to avoid. And maybe even if someone is like that, if you're close enough to them, you can give them that feedback and just say, you know,
like I've noticed that you're kind of bending a lot.
What do you want? What do you like? Like help them out of their journey, because a lot of people will be friends with people from when they were young, so it's not always new friends that you can just be like, oh, I don't want to be friends with you because you're a chameleon. You might have a friend that's a chameleon, but just to help them to kind of find themselves, just like ask them, like, what do you like doing? Like, what should we do something that you want to do? Like, what do you actually want? And help them explore help them find themselves. Yeah. I think that's key.
Yeah, great. And my red flag is one-sided friendships. Oh, nothing worse than a take friend. I just feel like that is just not friendship. Like friendship is supposed to be compromise and doing things together and things being balanced. And I just really think that is like the biggest red flag ever. And I think that you can suss it out quite quickly as well, which is really good.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just thinking now, my red flag kind of seeps into my amber flag really, I guess, because somebody talking about the same thing over and over and dominating the conversation every time you see them is it is very one-sided.
Yeah.
I've had friendships in the past where I've had conversations and I've left and I've been like, I don't think they asked me one question about how I'm doing or what's going on with me. And it's not that I'm like, back to me,
no.
but it's just like balance.
100%.
Surely that's what, and don't get me wrong, like sometimes your friends might be in a situation where, you know, like relationships, you want to be at 100% all the time. Someone might be 80, someone might be 20, then one week you might be 50-50, but you're always hitting that 100%. But when you feel like it's 100% about them and 0% about you, that's not right. And continuously, yeah, that I just find that completely not fair. And also just like a little subcategory to the one-sided friendship is flakiness, because I do think that is very one-sided, to just kind of every plan that is made for you to just cancel repeatedly is very selfish. And I know we've spoken about this briefly before yesterday when we were at the gym. By the way, my arms, I forgot to mention.
Great.
Me and Camilla went to the gym yesterday and she was like, I hope you're able to like move the mic tomorrow because our upper body is going to be broke. And I literally woke this morning, I leaned over my phone to turn the alarm off. I was like, oh!
Really?
Oh
yeah,
my
mine
God,
is sore actually. I've only just had time to actually think about it. One arm is more sore than the other.
Oh, right, that's funny.
How weird. You know what normally happens when I go to the gym? I do go to the gym, do upper, and then my lower hurts the next day. And I'm like, I'm doing something wrong. Or I'll do legs and my arms hurt. And I'm like, so maybe I wasn't the best coach.
Funny. Me and my mum were at the gym last week and she was like, God, is this hurting your triceps? I'm like, no, it's hurting my shoulders. And the guy went, it's a bicep exercise.
Oh God.
We were pissing ourselves.
Oh God.
I was like, oh God, between us, we're all over the gap. I don't know what's going on.
Neither of you are right. You're miles off it. But yeah, to be fair, I hit the jackpot because my upper is actually hurting when I've worked upper. It's a win.
I felt like you pushed me really hard yesterday, actually, because I was like doing 5s, then 7.5s, and it was really cute. Camilla was like, push a 10, push a 10. I was like, oh!
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I was like,
you're doing great, sweetie.
I literally got to like here, and I was like, I give up. I can't.
It was so good.
But
it was
it was fun, wasn't it?
And
anyway, I don't even know how we got onto that.
Yeah, we were talking about flakiness and how you have those friends who you put them in your diary in pencil, not pen.
Yeah.
Because you know that last minute. And it's sad because, like, we were saying this earlier, it's like we expect the same behaviour as we would give to others back. Yeah. And that is the biggest mistake. I always talk about that. It's always going to be the biggest disappointment. You know, you bless you. You're always going to, you know, want the energy that you would give off to someone else back. So if you're always going to show up for a plan because you know you've made it with a friend,
it's commitment,
it's going to happen, but that's not always going to happen, is it?
Yeah, but this is what I was saying, sorry, just got distracted by talking about the gym, but we were talking about it yesterday when we were at the gym about how in society nowadays, it feels like everybody is so focused on self-development. Lol. Ironic that we are also.
Yeah.
That's a bit hypocritical, isn't it? Because we do have a self-development podcast. But people are so obsessed with it, so obsessed with self-development, boundaries, self-care, independence, like being hyper independent, that I feel sometimes like the qualities of just being committed, doing what you said you were going to do, being there for your friend kind of gets disregarded because people are like, well, I don't feel like doing that, so I'm not going to do that.
I need to prioritise self-care.
Myself. And it's like, well, actually, that teeters on being selfish because even if I was exhausted, if I'd made a plan, unless I was horrendously unwell or something had come up that was like, you know, out of my control
personal,
or family related or whatever, then yes, that's fine. But if it's just, I'm a bit tired, it's a bit like, oh, okay. So I just feel like that trumps being there and being committed. And I just think that's a little bit of a red flag.
Be self-developed, but not too developed.
Yeah, be self-developed, not selfish.
Yeah, that's so true.
And that's it.
And there's a very fine line. It really is, because it's like, you know, we were talking about like how to know what you actually want, and you don't want to do anything that doesn't align with you. But it's like, but there is an anomaly to that in that when your friends need you or when you've made a plan that you stick to it. Yeah, you don't want to be known as a flake. Oh my goodness.
Worse.
Like
when I was drinking, I was such a flake.
Yeah.
I honestly used to make so many plans and I was known as like the flake. And now I'm just like, oh, that horrifies me. Because like, unless it is a big thing that I've had to like move, you know, for something, I really do try my best not to do that. Because also people forget that when you make a plan with someone, there are other things surrounding that plan that other person may have moved to accommodate the plan. So if you cancel and you're a flake, it's like, oh, like, well, I didn't do that last night because I was doing this. So I'm doing this. I moved this to do that. And now you've just dropped like a hat.
Like my mum and dad were going out for, you know, drinks or whatever, and now the's no room on the table.
Yeah,
it's like,
and you've cancelled. I could have gone there, or could have done this, or could have done that. So I just think it's quite selfish to be like that continuously. So one-sided friendships / being a massive flake. That's a red flag for me in friendship.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's a great way to end the episode. So we've armed you with a toolkit there. You've got red, amber and green flags from both Katie and I, for that you can kind of have a look into your friendships.
Yeah, and even if you don't agree with our flags, think about your own. Like analyse that and think, what do I class as a red, amber, green flag? Yeah. And if you have enjoyed this episode, please share it with friends, family, partner, anybody that you think would enjoy the episode. And make sure to rate, review and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Love it.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.